I never thought I would see the day where being a woman who simply minds her business, takes care of her life, and does the best she can as a woman is somehow considered a threat and somehow makes her intimidating in the eyes of other people. But the more I think about it, this is the major reason, in my opinion, of why this is. When a woman doesn't need a lot of outside validation, that makes her unlikable to insecure and jealous people. You see, when people are insecure, they're constantly doing things to try to get the attention of other people. Whereas a woman who is confident and self assured, she doesn't need to do all of that. People are drawn to her because it's her. And I know how that sounds, but think about it. If you're a woman that's simply living her life, you feel good about yourself for the most part, you feel good about the way your life is going, or you're working towards your goals, you're just doing the positive things that you know to do in your life. You're trying to look good while doing it. You're trying to just take care of your health and just be the best that you can be as a woman. And you're not so focused on what other people are doing. And you don't need somebody constantly in your face to prop you up to make you feel good about yourself. When people see you operating that way, they will look at you like there's something wrong with you, especially if you're in an environment where people are giving praise constantly. Let's say like a workplace, because this seems to be standard in the workplace, where you have like that quiet coworker that just comes there. They look good, they smell good, they doing their job to the best of their ability. They don't really talk too much. They just say what's necessary. But because of that one person is a threat in the office, all because they come to work looking nice, they're quiet, minding their business, and doing their job. They don't feel like they need to get too close to anybody because they don't need all of that. They're there to make their money and go home. But for people who are intimidated and feel a little bit insecure within themselves, seeing a person who isn't trying to blend in or fit in with other people, and that's really what it comes down to, those type of people are considered a threat to those who are insecure and jealous and just plain out miserable. When you don't try to fit in with other people, especially amongst women, because I see this a lot, and I've saw different memes where women will post, well, you can't sit at our table with us. That kind of mean girl thing where it's like, I saw the Barbie, and then I saw the one Barbie with the black hair and the one with the blonde hair, and all the blondes were sitting at the table, but the black Barbie was sitting by herself, not the black as in ethnicity. The girl with the black hair, she was by herself. The message that was being relayed is that you can't sit with us. And that Barbie, that little meme, it said, I don't need to sit at your table. I create my own tables. And while as women, when it comes to relationships, we don't have that kind of mentality. But when it comes to womanhood and how we interact with other women, we're not always going to try to go out of our way to try to get a seat at the table, so to speak. We're not always going to go out of our way to try to fit in with other people. It shouldn't take all of that when you're being authentic to who you are as a woman. When you're being authentic to who you are as a woman, your tribe will find you, and the people who are for you, they will be there around you. And when you think that way, the people who are used to doing the most in order to get acceptance from other people, they're not going to like you. You see, women, and this makes you the most powerful woman walking the earth. When you are able to walk alone until the right people come along, the cliques and the girl groups and the ones who start all the drama and the issues, they're not going to like you when you are a loner. When you're a woman and you're a loner and you're not sad, you're not depressed, you're not upset, you walk alone. Like, you're fine with that. You enjoy your own company. You're fine at work, just enjoying your lunch, putting your earbuds in, enjoying your music or your TV show while you're eating your lunch by yourself, being at peace. People who feel like they have to fit in, they got to be around somebody. I have to be, you got to talk to me. People who are like that do not like women who can just be to themselves and be perfectly fine. And it's not to say that women who are like that are mean or snooty or what other, word they want to have for them. Women who don't need to blend in are often disliked. And if you're that kind of woman, You have to get used to that, and don't try to change your character of who you are in order to blend in with other people. What I see a lot of times, women who are so eager to blend in with these groups, and a little sidebar, if you're over the age of 30, you shouldn't be trying to fit into a group of women. You should naturally let things flow the way they need to. If you still have that like sorority girl mindset where it's like, I really want to be with the cool girls, then you have deeper issues that you need to deal with. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to have friends, with wanting to be in groups, with wanting to be around other like-minded women. That's what I'm doing here. And I would like to believe that many of us have the same mindset, i.e., the reason why you're here. But I say that to say, while there's nothing wrong with wanting to be amongst other women, don't come outside of your character in order to fit in and blend in. And as I was about to say, women who often do that, they will level themselves down in order to blend in with other women that are a little bit classless, tacky, and doing things and saying things that they ought not to say. Sacrificing your image as a woman is not worth being in a girl group or a clique. It's not worth, saying I have a seat at the table if I have to compromise my morals, my standards, and how I operate as a woman. If I can't talk about my goals and accomplishments out of fear that these women are going to feel intimidated or feel jealous of what I'm saying, then that's not the group for me. But you have many women who are so eager to fit in that they dumb themselves down in order to just say they're in the group. And that's one thing that feminine women with class and grace never do. We don't go outside of ourselves in order to try to blend in with women who are, I'll say it, basic in nature. And when their only conversation is to gossip, to cause problems, to have drama, to feel threatened by women who are leveling up and doing better for themselves, they're basic in nature. And you should not want to be in the company of those kind of women, which takes me back to being comfortable being alone and how you become a threat when you are comfortable being alone. When people realize that, dag, I haven't really talked to her all week long. We've been coming to work all week. I haven't said anything, and she seems unfazed. You ever notice they'll start asking you little dumb questions or trying to get into your personal life in some way, ask you about people they have no idea about, ask you how your man is doing when they don't know your man, ask to see pictures of your man? Why do you need to see pictures of my husband? Why do you need to see pictures of my children? So you can have something to talk about? So you can fill me out to try to figure out what kind of person I am? You don't need to know. See, it's that little thing right there is the reason why I don't talk like that. You see, people who are so eager, and I'm not saying the well-intentioned people who just want to get to know you, you know the type of women that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the women who try to bait you into these conversations to get you caught up in drama. I'll give you an example. I was working at one job, and this lady, it was a new person that started, and they asked me, how did I feel about this person? They didn't say too much about her. They kept it very general. They said about where she was from and all of that. What do you think about so-and-so? I heard she was saying these kind of things about people who work in the department that I work in. So she was alluding to the fact that she might have been talking about me, and she was trying to get me to say something shady about this girl, and I suspect she wanted me to say that so she can run back to her and say what I said to stir up some drama. And because I have that level of heightened discernment and wisdom, and I knew where she was going with her baited questions, yes, women who are jealous and envious and negative in nature and just miserable, they will try to bait you into talking about things that will get you caught up in drama. So when she asked me about her, I just told her, well, I know she works in this department. I really don't know her that well. She seems okay, and I left it at that. And the look of disappointment on her face, because I didn't say much, because I was quiet. She thought I was so gullible and naive that I was just going to have mouth diarrhea and start saying a whole bunch of stuff about this girl, and I did not. That disappointed her. And do you know the rest of the day, the rest of the week, the foreseeable future while I worked there? This girl was always giving me the side eye, looking me up and down, rolling her eyes at me, all because I didn't allow her to bait me into getting caught up in gossip and drama. When you are a leveled up, confident woman, when you have wisdom and discernment, you recognize a snake when you hear one. You know what it is to be baited by a woman who is miserable and normally insecure and a little bit jealous. They like to use those little trick questions to get you caught up in drama. And I was not taking the bait. See, these are the kind of things you have to look out for when you don't need validation and you're more quiet and you're confident. People who are weird, and let's just call it what it is, it's deeper than just being jealous, miserable, and insecure. Sometimes they're just outright weird people. They're so miserable that they feel like they have to cause some kind of problems. They ask you questions about things that you don't really care about, and they know you don't care about it, and because of that, they try to trick you and bait you into different things. Don't let people do that. You know, when you're more reserved, people try to fill you out, and when they can't figure you out, they start making assumptions about your character. They say you're quiet, so you must be bougie or conceited. Oh, you're not always in somebody's face, so you must, be depressed. Like, it's from one extreme to the next. Either they think there's something wrong with you, or they think you think you're too good for them or you're better than them, when in actuality, you are just good within yourself. You're at peace within yourself. Women who don't need a lot of validation, and that brings me to my outside point. You don't care to communicate with people who you know are drama-filled snakes. You'd rather be quiet for the rest of your life before you talk to somebody that's going to trick you and get you caught up in drama. And then with men, I have to say this. When you are a woman who doesn't need a lot of validation from men, not that you don't like the compliments, not that you don't like, being told that you're beautiful and that you're doing well and all those things, when you don't need it. And this is a little bit for married women, because when you're a married woman and you're happily married, you definitely really don't care if you get compliments from other men. And you definitely don't care if you are perceived as being, for lack of a better word, a witch, all because you're not giving in to what they're putting out in front of you. I get that often, where men, they'll compliment me and I receive the compliment, but they might go a little bit further and they're trying to get to know me in a way that's inappropriate for me as a married woman. For me, as long as I have the validation of my husband, I truly don't care what another man thinks of me. I don't care if he sees me as a BI, all because I turned him down or I don't want to be bothered with him. And you have to get used to that too. And while you can let men down gently, some men, you absolutely have to draw a stern line in the sand with them because they're a little bit out there. And that's another thing. Men, they're going to think, okay, if you don't like them, there's something wrong with you. Because why would you not like them? Why would you not feel like, taken aback by the compliments they give you? Once again, when a woman knows she's beautiful, when she knows that she is that girl, a man that she's not interested in telling her that does nothing for her. But sometimes these dust bucket men, they don't understand that, and they try to paint you out to be something that you're not, all because you're not giving them the time and attention that they're seeking from you. Once again, when you're self-validated and you don't need all of that from them, you become a threat. This goes with men and women. When you don't need to be at their table and you don't need to be at their group, when they're having a party and you have your own party by yourself, or you have your little girl group, they're bothered by that because their little negativity and their pettiness oftentimes didn't faze you, and that makes you a threat. I'm telling you, being a woman that is confident, self-assured, and self-validated, it is a reward, but it also comes with consequences, as in you're going to have to deal with haters who are upset by the fact that you don't need them. A lot of women who are more introverted especially, You don't need somebody constantly propping you up for you to feel good about yourself. And I'm not saying that we all don't need people around us to tell us, you're doing a great job. Who doesn't want to hear that? But even if you don't tell me that, I know that I'm doing well. And let me speak to the mothers for a moment, because many of us, I know there's been many a time where I doubted myself as a mother. Sometimes my children will say or do things, and I still look at myself like, am I doing well? Like, what's happening here? Why is my son acting like this? That kind of thing. And the one thing you don't take as a woman, and that makes you powerful, especially if you're a mother, when you don't let the scrutiny and judgment from other people to make you feel bad as a mother. You see, you got some people, and I'm going to say it, I know it might sound a little bit, brash or a little bit rough, and I'm going to say it. If you have never birthed a child, if you've never felt human shoulders come out of your womb, you cannot tell me what to do with my child. I've had some people who are not mothers throw their little opinions about different things, because I have a son who's on the autism spectrum. And I can't tell you, earlier on, I heard so many things, so many people suggesting what I should be doing, what I could be doing, this and that. When a person has not walked in your shoes in a specific situation, they have no right to tell you how to be, especially when it comes to motherhood. There was a lot of ignorance that I had to dismiss and disregard in order to keep my focus on doing the best that I know how to do for my child. Was that challenging? Of course, because when it comes to your children, that's a different emotion. That's a different nerve that's being tapped. I can't even explain it. I don't even have a word for it. It's just when somebody challenges you in that way, you're going to feel that. But even in that, you have to be so confident and self-assured to know that you know what's best for your children, and you have to stand, as they say, 10 toes down on that one. Don't let somebody come along with their worldly understanding but not lived understanding of what your situation is. There's one thing to read things out of a book, and there's another thing to actually have lived a certain experience. If a person has never raised a child with special needs, unless you are one of the, IEP coordinators, one of the teachers, there's really nothing you can tell me, or I believe anybody else, about raising a special needs child. And forgive me if I got off on a little bit of a tangent about that one. That is near and dear to my heart, because I have a 19-year-old son who is on the autism spectrum, and he was diagnosed when he was 4 years old. I'll probably do a video all about my experience raising a child with autism. I'll probably do a whole video on that one. But to get back to my original point of this entire video, when you are a woman who is self-validated and self-assured, that makes you a powerful woman, and oftentimes a threat to those who seek to intimidate you, to make you feel insecure, all because they are insecure. When you don't need to be in the clique to fit in, if you're not trying so hard to be around those people, they will look at you like you're a threat, and it's a blessing, because you don't need all of that extra. You just know who you are. But it's also, as I say, a little bit of a curse, because they want you to want them. And when they're snakes, you don't need them. You don't need their validation, whether it be at work, whether it be at school, whether it be at your personal life. What does it benefit me to be complimented and encouraged and all these different things from somebody who doesn't really mean it, and they're doing and saying things just to bait you into doing and being the way that they are? It just doesn't make sense to me. So self-validated women are very powerful, and use that power to your advantage. Next video coming soon.